Hey Austin, it's Grant with BLU Digital Solutions. I just wanted to shoot this for you real quick and kind of show you what we may be able to do for you. This is going to be a tricky one actually, just because it doesn't seem like there's actually a lot of people searching for it. But so I'll kind of show you what I looked at. But looking at your site, we went through everything, looked at the services, the areas we serve, and stuff like that. So we're going to have to target one of these specifically. We may have to make some changes on the site itself. Just to feed Google per se, but everything that we would change would be for a specific reason, depending on certain areas. If there's an area in here, instead of targeting a county, maybe it's a city. But that's all going to tie into keywords. But everything on the site itself looks really good. So it's not like it'd be a rebuild or anything crazy like that. It might just be tweaking here and there, which like I said, we kind of do as it comes up. But some of the things to look at here is this is your guys' metrics. This is just a third-party tool I use. But it gives a pretty good understanding with kind of how you compare to your competitors and stuff like that. So when we look at this right here, just this top box, you really don't need to pay attention to anything else. This is what the UR rating, which is just the URL rating, shows the strength of a target's page, his length profile on a 100-point scale. So 0 being the lowest, 100 being the highest. This is more or less your trust within Google. So have some ways to raise that with press releases and some other things. But the higher these numbers are, obviously, the better. But this is one of the big numbers right here is the domain rating. And so 0 to 100 scale as well. And so the higher the number, the better. The way we get this number up is through referring domains and backlinks. The way you get referring domains is by getting your website, so getting the Bioone-Savannah.com published on other like websites that already have trust and power within Google. So an example would be by getting your website onto somebody like Aftermath.com, getting yours on theirs. It gives you a referring domain and it will give you backlinks out of it, which in turn is going to pump these numbers up. So we have a huge network of different ways that we can get links to make your website more powerful and rank higher. But that's one of the big things that we kind of target. And all this would be based around your content, what words we're targeting and stuff like that. But let's go look at your keywords that your website actually ranks for on Google. So we'll click that, but you see it says you're only getting about 8 people a month out of all of these keywords. So when we break it down, you're getting 1.6 people out of the 50 people every month that search Savannah suicide. And you're in the number 9 position. So as you see here, these are all the terms that are being searched. This is how many people that are actually searching it per month. This is how many people you're getting out of those searches, and this is where you currently rank. So that's kind of the thing, looking at all the competitors and stuff. There's really not any straightforward keywords. Just suicide cleanup or biohazard cleanup Savannah, stuff like that. So it's going to take some digging to find some. But I know that, there's definitely stuff out there we can do to get your presence out there. I'll show you kind of what I compared it to and how I would approach it if this were my company. But you see, you guys have some already that you already rank for. We would just use those things that we talked about earlier, those backlinks, to start pushing power to these keywords that you currently rank for to get these up to the top of the search engine. So you see how you're 25 here. The goal would be to push some of those backlinks towards this term right here to get this term to climb to the top of Google. So hopefully we can start converting, some of these 30 per month. And we'd have to go through one by one. You rank for, over 400 of them. So it will take a little bit of time to actually go through all that. But I looked at your competitor sites, kind of how they have it laid out. Y'all's is very similar. And we looked at their metrics. So you see here, you're not far off from these people. They're getting 97 people a month. A lot of it's out of their own name. So you see how they're pulling most of their traffic from ServPro. But you got Savannah, Georgia, storm damage. I don't know if that's something you guys go after. Hurricane damage, restoration, water damage restoration. That'd be a good one to definitely go after. But you see, so that's kind of how we usually compile our list and kind of get a plan of attack on how we're going to go after this for our clients. Is we look at our competitors, we go through all of their stuff, we find out what they're ranking for that our clients aren't, and then we get that onto your website and we push power to those to get them to the top to hopefully take a little business away from them and give you more business. And so you see there's a handful of things: flooding, a lot of it talks about water, but we really have to dig through to start looking at all the mold and cleanup, biohazard cleanups and stuff like that. So it would take a little bit of time to do that. Here's Aftermath. This is probably the best one to go off of for the time being. Granted, their Savannah page, I mean, it's pretty basic as you see. They're really not getting much traffic out of this one. As you see, it's not showing us too much here. So it's not really, this isn't really what helps us. I mean, they have a few things we could look at possibly and try to go after that might be buyer's intent. But what I did is I actually looked at them in Chicago. I take it back. I looked at them overall. I looked at them in Chicago earlier. But what I would do is I would look at see what they're ranking for overall. As you see here, they're bringing in a lot of traffic through their blogs, and blogs tie into this big time. Doing them with a systematic approach is a certain way. You answer the public per se with what they're searching for. So we use the same kind of concept here on searching for what questions are people asking when it pertains to biohazard cleanup. And we would write those blogs, and they interlink and they all tie into your websites to where we can start pushing traffic through your blogs and then hopefully converting them as well. But instead of going after Savannah specific keywords, we may have to go after more broad keywords. So crime scene cleanup jobs, not that one. Aftermath services, we could easily go after their own name and possibly outdo them on that. Crime scene cleanup, that would definitely be one I would go after there in the Savannah area. Like I said, we'd have to go through and find all these broad keywords, and that would probably be the best approach, honestly, because there's hardly any search volume when it comes to Savannah specifically. So the best bet would probably be have to go after the broad keywords, and that way you could always expand too if you wanted to. If you wanted to expand in different cities or whatnot, you're already ranking for these big broad keywords, so it's only going to help you. Moving on to this piece here, crime scene cleanup Chicago. So this is just the example I was using when it comes to the Google My Business listings. We can look at and see where you're at in Savannah. But these are going to be your bread and butter. I mean, that's where the majority of your people call from. So just from that keyword alone, I mean, you guys are doing excellent right here. You guys are the ones that pop up, and the ones that probably get the phone call. But we go through and we actually make sure that if you're not at the top, when it comes to the three, that's why I had Chicago pulled up, was to show you that. Because there's going to be plenty of keywords out there that you guys probably don't, just not the only ones to where you're in the top three like this. But what we do is we target those specific keywords as well and try to get these pushed up to the top while also getting reviews and everything else for you, kind of do more of a reputation management. The way to do this, I'll tell you how to do it, is to get your business listed in all the different directories that are out there. There's hundreds of them that you can get put into. The more that you're into, the better. And it has to match, word for word, letter for letter. The address has to be exact. Even if a comma is missing, that will throw it off and Google won't give you the credit for it. So usually we put our clients in about 300 different directories. Usually that's more than enough to start pushing them towards the top. So that way they rank for the keywords, that they need to rank for. But hopefully this kind of helped you out. Like I said, this was definitely a different one compared to most of what. It's not just cut and dry to where we see, roofing, Savannah, Georgia. There's a lot more that's going to go into this one, a lot more work. And on top of that, too, just to give you an idea, a heads up also, I don't know how many other SEO companies you've talked to, but there was a big core update that happened about 3 or 4 days ago. And Google's algorithms have changed. It's no longer just type in the keyword in your content and Google gives it to you now. Now they changed it completely around. It has to do with, it's called natural language. But there's a lot more on the back end of this now that we'd analyze every piece of your content on your website and make sure that you outdo everybody when it comes to content in that area, going off the natural language and the new core update and everything else. So you can be sure that you would get the most up-to-date and current algorithm updates out there. We're not working off of old techniques and stuff like that. I've spent literally the last 96 hours, I think, tearing apart Google's new algorithm to making sure that we're ready for that and that we're able to capitalize on it. So hopefully, like I said, this helps you a little bit. If you have any questions, definitely give me a call. I'd like to hear your feedback on this. And the next step would be, if this is something that interests you, actually, sitting down, me and you, kind of doing a deep dive, a discovery per se, and just really learning more about your business, learning, what it is you're really wanting out of this and how we can tailor this to get you, to those end goals We'd put it on paper. We'd break it down kind of by how the site's laid out. We'd target all the keywords that we're going to do and stuff like that. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks, Austin.